So we just covered the fact that trauma is an essential part of our evolution and experience. We covered the fact that we have to block the center of sensation to survive the pain. We understand the implication of the appearance of trauma in the beginning of the human experience because it forces us to close the heart. What are the implications in adulthood? Of course, just a disclaimer here, we're not covering all the implications of trauma. We're looking at it only from the perspective of trying to understand our life journey and how it serves us and how those understandings serve us for the context of shifting our life to a better stream. So we're taking an 80,000 feet perspective. Everyone has it and it's an integral part of the human experience. Let's dive into how it manifests in our adult life. Trauma shapes our perspective of the world. It influences how we see reality, how we interact with the world, how we interpret reality. It's a major influencer on our internal structures. Now, our internal structures are the ones that through which our light shines. Our energy comes through our behavior, our expression of the self, which means that trauma is a great influencer on how we show up in life. Now, I'm a perfect example, like everyone else, of course, but I use my own story as an example. The fact that I grew up all my formative years in immense fear every day of my life helps me today understand how fear and how pain operates inside. And it helps me create content and create teachings like this one. And that's a direct influence. I would not be able to do that if I would not grow up in the fear-induced environment which I did. To understand that, you have to live it. That is the gift I got from living in fear. We mentioned that the heart is the center of our energy, of our being, right? To express our special gift fully, it has to shine from the center of our energy, from the center of our being. It has to come out. That's where the source is. The encasing of the heart, the closure of the heart in an armor, shields it from pain. But as we grow, it's not only shielding from the outside inward, it also does the same thing the opposite way. So when the center of our being is trying to come out and we're trying to express ourselves, that shield gets in the way. Like the knight in armor, it protects, but nothing can come out. It becomes a buffer. One of the most common things I hear from people is, I feel this great love, but I don't know how to express it. Those feelings, I don't know how to bring them out. This is a human being experiencing that shield, that armor around the heart, put there in early childhood to defend against immense pain. Right? When we grow up and become more self-aware, we feel this buffer. We feel we cannot express our feelings. And we feel the other way around. We have a hard time feeling other people. Because as a shield, it works both ways. Less can come out and less can come in. Not only pain, also love. We have a hard time accepting love. We have a hard time connecting from the heart with other people. Right? One of the things that was a big trigger for me to start looking inside is the fact that I felt that sensation. I felt I love my wife and I love my kids more than I'm able to express. And I didn't know where to go, where to look, what to do about it. I understood instinctively and intuitively that it's within me because it's my feeling. It's not external. There's nothing I can do in the external world to change that. That's what drove my search inward. Now, as I said earlier, there's various degrees of it. Some people, their sequence of pains and traumas cause them, like myself, complete shutdown of the emotional system. The armor is so thick, you don't feel anything. There was a phase after my PTSD set in, I thought I was some form of a cyborg. I was 15 and I remember myself staring for hours very close into my own eyes in the mirror, looking for a clue that something is ticking there or some machine is inside. It didn't make sense to me that I don't feel anything to my parents, to my family. It's no feelings. Now, I knew I had them before, but they just disappeared. And I couldn't figure out what happened. That's a symptom of a complete shutdown of the emotional system, right? Other senses work, the emotional system is shut down because that's the system through which we feel pain. So I had to numb it to the degree that I didn't feel anything. Now, other people maybe don't go that far, but it's on the spectrum for everyone. The pain that we face as defenseless children causes us to put in place that shield, that protecting layer. And we grow up with it. At some point we forget it's there, just normal. As we encounter love, or as we look for love, or as we get kids, and there's all kinds of life events that trigger the emotional system, we start realizing that it's limited. And this protection becomes an inhibition. We outgrow the armor, and it becomes a problem because it gets in the way in our relationship, and especially in relationship where we care, where we want to have a heart connection. That layer around the center of our existence, of our energy center, of our self, gets in the way of our self-expression. So we have hard time expressing ourselves fully because of it. Not only that we have hard time expressing ourselves fully, we have hard time understanding, accessing the self fully. Because again, it works both ways. What we start realizing is that early events in our life pose a current limit, which we experience mostly internally. Obviously, it manifests in our life. And this limit creates a lot of friction because we have hard time relating to people. Everyone has it, it's just the degree varies. That is the impact, that is the residue of the event. That is the real trauma. Now, think of this encasing as an inaccessible navigation system. Why? Because if the center of the human experience is sensing, and the main sensing center is not accessible, because we have a shield around it, it's the same as navigating with an inaccessible navigation system. Imagine yourself driving a car in a city where you're visiting the first time in your life, and you've never been there before, and you don't have a navigation system. You don't have Waze, you don't have Google Maps, you don't have a map, you don't have anything. You just have an address. Like in the old days. That becomes a not so easy feat, and especially if you don't speak the language, becomes a real problem to get to your destination. And this is how we navigate our life. Because everything we do, and we covered it in the first few lessons in Module 1, is motivated by feeling good. We work to feel good, we eat to feel good, we sleep to feel good, we meet people to feel good. It's all about feeling good. But if we don't have access to the center that tells us now you feel good and now you don't feel good, how do we know what to do and where to go and how to structure my life if I don't know what will yield the feel good that I'm looking for? I don't have access to the system that tells me that. Our heart is our navigation system for life. If the experience is about sensing and feeling good, decisions should be based on what makes my world feel good for me. And it's individual. There's no template. But if I'm not able to access this system that tells me this feels good and this feels not so good, then by design my decisions are off. By design I don't navigate to the right place. I cannot determine, or I have trouble doing it, what feels good and what not, because I can't access the heart. It's encased. It's encased because of events that happened 15 or 20 or 30 or 40 or 60 years ago. It's still encased because any trauma that wasn't healed is still there. What do we get out of that? We get a limited human experience, the limited edition, but not in a good way. The human experience is about experiencing life. That's why there's the word experience in it, right? The key here is experiencing the most powerful force of life, the power of creation. The way we feel it, we call it love. And we feel it in the heart. But when the heart is encased in armor, we cannot sense it fully. So we have a limited experience of love. It manifests in our ability to experience life, the life force. The most experience we have of the life force is with other living organisms. Top of the list of the living organisms is human beings, also with animals, also with nature. But the top is human beings, other human beings. That's where we feel the life force the most. That's where we experience life the most. But if we can't access the mechanism, the system that enables that sensing, then we're locked out of our main sensor. A long list of issues arises from that. Everything in interpersonal interaction is about sensing. When we're in that state of closed heart, we are handicapped at it. Family, friendships, professional, and of course romantic relationship, it's all about that. Our main experience of the life force is through the heart and through different variations of the force of life. Love is the peak of it, joy, happiness, also the sad part. It's also a form, but we can't experience it if the sensor is not accessible, which tells you that unlocking and unleashing and opening our heart determines how alive we are, how much of the human potential we truly experience. And as long as the heart is encased fully or partially matters less, but as long as it's encased in the shield, our experience, our life experience, our human experience is inhibited, it's limited. It's not full. We're not fully alive.